The Galactic Council chamber floated in the middle of the Andromeda Nebula, like a shining crystal among the stars. From its enormous windows, every council member could see streaks of blue and purple gases swirling across the cosmos. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered nearby, some metallic and sharp, others organic and glowing. Every corner of the galaxy seemed represented in this chamber. The council had gathered for an urgent matter. Alarms had been sent from the edge of human space. A creature known as Zarvath, the deadliest alien dragon in the galaxy, had been spotted. Stories about Zarvath traveled faster than light. He was said to be as long as a starship, covered in black scales that shone like molten metal, and with eyes that could burn into the minds of even the bravest warriors. His claws could tear through any material, and his roar could shatter shields across light years. The council members argued among themselves. "We must eliminate it immediately," shouted Gralnak, the insectoid ambassador from Zenthar. His multiple eyes flashed angrily. "It is a threat to every species in the galaxy." "No," countered Thalra, the aquatic representative from Aquilon. Her voice rippled like water. "We do not understand it fully. Perhaps it is not aggressive toward all beings. A direct attack could provoke it to destroy more worlds." Humans were present, too, sitting quietly near the back of the chamber. Most of the council had ignored them. Humans were small, physically weak, and new in the galaxy's politics. They had colonies on several planets, but no one took them seriously. The representative, a calm man named Varen, simply nodded to the council and said, "We are ready to observe. We will not interfere unless necessary." While the council debated, no one noticed the small human girl wandering near the observation deck. Lena, barely 7 years old, was fascinated by everything around her. Her hair floated gently in the chamber's low gravity, and her eyes sparkled with curiosity. She did not understand why all these aliens looked so worried, nor why their voices were so loud. All she saw were colors, shapes, and wonders she had never imagined. Her parents tried to keep up with her, but Lena was faster. She had always been adventurous. She had climbed the tallest trees on her home planet, explored caves, and even touched strange creatures in her backyard. The council members muttered among themselves, noticing the little human wandering too close to the edge of the deck. Suddenly, the entire chamber shook. Sensors went off. A shadow, larger than any ship, entered the nebula. Zarvath had arrived. The council froze. Even Gralnak, who had demanded immediate attack, fell silent. The dragon's wings, enormous and membranous like a galaxy stretched into night, blocked the view outside. His black scales reflected the nebula's colors, and his eyes glowed like twin suns. The hum of the council's shields vibrated as the dragon roared, a sound so deep that it seemed to move through every bone. Many species jumped back in fear, some hid behind consoles. But Lena did not move. She tilted her head, staring at the enormous dragon with the kind of curiosity only a child could have. She saw scales, teeth, and claws, but she also saw something else. Zarvath's eyes flickered, not with rage, but with something she could not name. The council members whispered in panic. "He will crush the chamber," one alien said. "We are not prepared." Zarvath's gaze swept across the deck, landing on the tiny humans. His massive head tilted slightly, studying them. Lena, feeling no fear, stepped forward. She stretched her small hand toward him. "Hello," she said softly. "Are you lost?" Varen grabbed her wrist, startled. "Lena, step back," he warned. But Lena's curiosity was stronger than her fear. She had always believed that understanding came from kindness, not hiding. Zarvath growled, a sound like mountains colliding, but he did not move toward her. Instead, he lowered his massive head slightly, as if trying to understand. The council gasped. No one had ever approached Zarvath before. he had destroyed entire fleets and worlds. No being had survived an approach within 100 kilometers of him. Lena's small hand continued to reach. "You are very big," she said, "but you do not have to be scary." For the first time in the Council's history, a dragon of unmatched power paused before a human. Zarvath sniffed the air, his glowing eyes focusing on Lena. He opened his mouth slightly, showing sharp teeth, yet there was no immediate attack. The room was silent except for the hum of the chamber and the distant vibrations of Zarvath's wings. Delegates leaned forward, whispering urgently, trying to decide what to do. Many were terrified, yet some were intrigued. Could a human really influence the deadliest dragon? Lena's parents finally caught up and pulled her back slightly. "Lena, stay close," her mother whispered. Lena looked at them with bright eyes but shook her head. She felt no danger. Somehow, she knew this dragon was not evil. It was just misunderstood. Zarvath moved his massive head closer, sniffing Lena's hand. His breath was hot, but not harmful. He seemed curious, almost cautious. Lena laughed softly. "You smell funny," she said, her voice carrying innocence rather than fear. "But I think you are kind." The council members could not believe their eyes. They had witnessed countless battles and wars, but never anything like this. A human child, small and fragile, had entered the space of the galaxy's most feared creature and faced it without fear. Gralnak's antennae twitched with disbelief. This is impossible," he said. "How can a human not be destroyed?" Varen stood up, placing a protective hand near Lena. "It seems there is more to humans than we expected," he said quietly. "Perhaps our strength is not in weapons or size, but in spirit." Meanwhile, Lena's hand brushed a scale lightly. Zarvath flinched at first, then relaxed slightly. The dragon's wings lowered, and he emitted a soft, rumbling sound, almost like a purr. The council stared in awe. Lena smiled. "See? You can be gentle." A holographic message arrived from the front lines near the dragon's last appearance. Entire fleets had been destroyed. Humans had reported no casualties because Zarvath had flown past without attacking. The council realized that while other species reacted with fear, humans had something different: understanding. The chamber remained tense. The council members began to debate whether to take immediate action or wait. Some were angry, believing Lena's bravery was reckless. Others were silent, contemplating the possibility that humanity's small size and innocence could be a form of power. For Lena, none of this mattered. She crouched slightly and extended her hand again. "Hello, big dragon. My name is Lena. Do you want to play?" she asked softly, smiling. Her voice had no hint of fear, only kindness. Zarvath's eyes softened. He lowered his massive head further, so close that Lena could see the intricate patterns on his scales. He sniffed her hand again, this time without aggression. The council had never seen anything like it. Delegates whispered urgently to each other, documenting the event in real time. This moment would become legendary. A human child had approached the deadliest creature in the galaxy and faced it with courage and compassion. Lena's mother finally spoke. She has a gift," she said. "She sees the good in everyone even when others cannot." Varen nodded. "Perhaps humanity's greatest power is not what they can destroy, but what they can understand." Zarvath tilted his head one final time before slowly retracting from the edge of the chamber. He hovered in the nebula outside, wings outstretched but calm. The humans were safe, and Lena had proven something that would shock the galaxy. A small human, with innocence and courage, could touch the heart of the deadliest dragon. As the council resumed their discussions, every member knew one truth. Humans were no longer insignificant. They had shown that bravery, curiosity, and kindness could change even the most terrifying situation. And for the first time in history, The deadliest dragon had faced a human not as prey, but as a friend. The stars outside shimmered as Zarvath hovered quietly, and Lena looked up at him, waving with a bright smile. The galaxy had never seen a moment like this, and it would not forget it. The stars shone brighter than usual that evening as Lena and her parents watched Zarvath hovering just beyond the Galactic Council chamber. The dragon's massive black wings stretched across the nebula, casting shadows that danced like living clouds across the council platforms. Despite his fearsome size and reputation, there was something different about him now. He was calm, curious, and he was looking at Lena. Inside the chamber, the council members argued heatedly. "We cannot let him roam so close to populated planets," Gralnak snapped, his multifaceted eyes flashing with irritation. "He is a threat to every species. Do you not see?" Varen, the human representative, said calmly. "He is not attacking, he is observing. Perhaps he senses that humans are different from others." "No!" barked Thalra, her voice rippling like water. "We cannot base decisions on assumptions. He could change his mind in an instant and destroy everything." Lena, however, had no fear. She had spent her life exploring, learning, and understanding. She had never met a creature like Zarvath. But she knew one thing. Fear often makes others dangerous, while trust can make the impossible happen. "Can I go closer?" she asked softly to her parents. Her mother hesitated, her hand gripping Lena's arm. "It's dangerous, Lena. You don't understand how strong he is." "I understand," Lena said, her small eyes filled with determination. "I just want to say hello." Her parents looked at each other. There was no stopping her now. Lena had always been brave, and she had a way of seeing the good in others, even in creatures that seemed impossible to understand. Varen stepped forward. "If she must approach, we will ensure the observation shields protect her. Nothing more. But she must remain calm." Lena nodded, and with her small hand held tightly in her father's, she stepped on to the observation platform. Outside, the nebula shimmered, reflecting colors on her face. She saw Zarvath's enormous head turn toward her, his glowing eyes locking on hers. For a moment, everything felt still. Even the council seemed to hold its breath. Lena's small figure looked almost fragile against the vast dark form of the dragon. Yet there was no fear in her eyes, only curiosity. She whispered, "Hello, big dragon. Do you like the stars?" Zarvath tilted his massive head, as if considering her question. A low rumble emitted from his throat, vibrating through the chamber walls. The sound was not threatening, but powerful enough to make the smaller council members shiver. "Stay calm," Varen whispered. "Do not make sudden movements." Lena took a careful step forward. She extended her hand, her palm open. "I just want to touch you," she said. Her voice was soft and steady. "I won't hurt you." Zarvath sniffed. He lowered his head slightly, the tip of his massive snout coming close enough for Lena to see the intricate scales that glimmered like dark jewels. His nostrils flared, sending warm gusts of air toward her. Most beings would have recoiled, but Lena laughed softly. "You smell funny," she said. "But I like it." The council members gasped. This was insane. The deadliest dragon in the galaxy, feared for centuries, was allowing a tiny human child to approach him. Some of them shook their heads in disbelief, while others quietly recorded the moment for history. Zarvath's eyes flickered. He sniffed again, more slowly this time. His massive wings shifted slightly, not in aggression, but as if to steady himself. Lena noticed the movement and stepped forward another small pace. "You don't have to be scary," she said gently. "I just want to know you." Varen whispered to the council, "Notice how he is responding. He is not attacking because she is not afraid." The chamber was silent except for the dragon's deep rumble and the soft hum of the council's shields. Lena crouched slightly, reaching her hand closer to the dragon's nose. Zarvath flinched at first, but then hesitated. He sniffed her hand, circling it with his massive snout. "You are big," Lena said, smiling. "But I think you are lonely. Don't you want a friend?" Zarvath paused, his glowing eyes softening. He had never heard a being speak like this. Most beings had run, screamed, or attacked. This tiny human was neither scared nor aggressive. She seemed kind, the council murmured. Gralnak's antennae twitched furiously. "Impossible! He should have devoured her!" Thalra, her voice quieter now, said, "Perhaps humans have a way we do not understand. Perhaps she sees things differently." Lena continued talking to the dragon, her small voice carrying over the observation platform. "I like your scales. They sparkle in the stars. You are beautiful, you know that." Zarvath's massive head lowered even more. The tip of his snout was now just a few feet from Lena. He sniffed again, this time slower, almost thoughtfully. Lena reached out carefully and touched the smooth scales near his nose. The dragon shivered slightly but did not pull away. Lena's small fingers traced the patterns on his scales, feeling the warmth beneath them. She giggled softly. "You feel like the sun," she said, "warm and bright." Varen exhaled. She is connecting with him. He is sensing her sincerity. Zarvath's glowing eyes softened further. He leaned in closer, allowing Lena to pet him more. His wings shifted slightly, and his enormous tail moved lazily in the void, like a giant serpent stretching. The council watched in stunned silence. "This is unprecedented," Thalra whispered. "No one has ever interacted with him like this." "Humans are unique," Varen said. "We are not strong in size, but we are strong in heart. This child shows it clearly." Lena spoke softly to Zarvath. "Do you like the stars? Do you want to see them with me?" The dragon tilted his massive head. For a moment, it seemed he understood. His body relaxed slightly, and his rumble became softer. The council began to record everything carefully. This was history. The deadliest dragon in the galaxy had allowed a human child to approach without fear. He had lowered his head, sniffed, and even tolerated touch. Lena's parents, though nervous, could not help smiling. Their daughter had always been brave, but this was beyond anything they had imagined. Lena had a way of seeing creatures not as threats, but as beings with feelings. She had learned that from exploring, from listening, and from always trying to understand. The council debated what to do next. Some wanted to call reinforcements to prepare for attack if Zarvath changed his mind. Others argued that no attack was needed. For the first time, humans were not just weak observers. They were teachers. Lena continued to talk to the dragon. "You don't have to roar at everyone. You can be gentle. I like gentle dragons." Zarvath emitted a sound that vibrated through the chamber, a low rumble, almost like a purr. Lena laughed softly and reached out again. She felt the warmth of his scales and the steady rhythm of his breathing. "This is amazing," whispered one council member. "A human child, calming the deadliest dragon. How is this possible?" Varen nodded. "It is possible because humans see things others cannot. Fear makes beings dangerous. Compassion makes them strong. Lena demonstrates both courage and kindness." Outside, the stars shimmered across Zarvath's black scales. The nebula glowed in blues, purples, and golds, reflecting in his eyes. Lena's small hand moved carefully, petting him gently. The dragon's massive body relaxed completely. The council watched in awe. This was a moment no one would forget. The tiniest humans had shown that courage and empathy could achieve what fleets and weapons could not. Zarvath tilted his head and nudged Lena gently with his snout, as if acknowledging her bravery. Lena giggled. See? You can be my friend if you want, she said softly. For the first time in centuries, the deadliest dragon in the galaxy had not faced a being as a threat, but as an equal. And that being was a little human girl. As Lena and Zarvath continued their silent communication, the council slowly realized a new truth. Humans were no longer insignificant. They were unique, brave, and capable of wonders no one could imagine. Lena looked up at the massive dragon and smiled. "You are amazing," she said softly. "I'm glad we met." Zarvath lowered his massive head even closer, almost touching her. Lena held her hand up, palm open, and for a moment the universe seemed to pause. Outside, the nebula shimmered brighter. Inside, the council watched history unfold. And the galaxy knew without a doubt that humanity's greatest power was not in its weapons, ships, or numbers. It was in its heart. The Galactic Council chamber was silent, except for the faint hum of the observation shields and the low rumble of Zarvath's massive wings. Lena stood on the observation platform, her small hand outstretched toward the dragon. For several long moments, nothing happened. Then slowly, the tip of Zarvath's enormous snout lowered closer to her, his nostrils flaring softly. The council members were frozen in disbelief. Some had never seen anything like it. The deadliest dragon in the galaxy, a being that had destroyed entire fleets, was now allowing a human child to approach without fear. Gralnak's antennae twitched violently. "This is impossible! He should have eaten her by now!" he hissed. Thalra, her watery voice trembling, said, "Perhaps this is not about strength. Perhaps there is more to humans than we imagined." Varin, Lena's father, placed a protective hand near her shoulder, ready to intervene if needed. Yet Lena seemed entirely at ease. She crouched slightly and whispered softly, "Hello, big dragon. I want to be your friend." Zarvath's glowing eyes studied her carefully. His massive jaws opened slightly, showing sharp teeth that could crush steel. Lena did not flinch. Instead, she laughed softly. "Don't worry," she said. "I won't hurt you." The dragon's nostrils quivered as he leaned closer, allowing Lena to gently touch the end of his nose. The council members gasped. This was the first time anyone had ever touched Zarvath without being attacked. Lena's small fingers traced the smooth black scales, feeling warmth beneath them. "He is letting her touch him," whispered a council member from a distant planet. "No one has ever come close to him without being destroyed." Lena giggled softly, feeling the powerful energy of the dragon beneath her fingertips. "You are very big," she said. "But I think you are kind too." Zarvath emitted a low rumble, vibrating through the chamber. It was not a roar, nor a warning. It was almost contentment. Lena's touch and gentle voice seemed to calm him. "Stay calm," Varin whispered to the council. "Watch closely. Humans are showing us something no one else has seen." Lena moved her hand slightly along the dragon's nose, careful not to startle him. She noticed the way his massive head shifted in response, a subtle movement that suggested he trusted her. "You have strong wings," she said softly. "They are beautiful. Can you fly high in the stars?" Zarvath's eyes flickered as if understanding. He shifted his enormous body slightly, folding his wings closer but keeping them relaxed. Lena felt a warmth spread through her heart. She knew, somehow, that he recognized her kindness. The council was stunned into silence. They had heard tales of humans being courageous, but this was beyond courage. This was a connection. A tiny human girl had approached the galaxy's most feared creature and, through simple kindness, made it pause and consider her. "Perhaps this is why humans survive," Varin whispered quietly. "They face danger without fear and offer kindness when others would attack." Lena continued, moving her hand gently along the dragon's snout. I like your scales, she said. They sparkle in the stars. You are beautiful. Zarvath tilted his massive head, allowing her to trace more of his nose. The warmth under his scales was surprising, almost comforting. He rumbled again, a soft vibration that Lena could feel in her chest. She laughed lightly, a sound that seemed to make the dragon's eyes glow even brighter. For the first time in centuries, a being feared across galaxies was experiencing something other than fear or aggression. He was calm, curious, almost gentle. The council members exchanged astonished glances. Gralnak shook his head in disbelief. This child. She is changing him. How? Thalra's voice was quiet but filled with wonder. Because she is human, she said. They do not rely on weapons or fear. They use courage, understanding, and heart. Lena spoke softly again. Do you like the stars? I like them. They are pretty, aren't they? Zarvath's massive head tilted slightly as if listening. The faint glow in his eyes seemed softer, more thoughtful. He shifted a little closer, allowing Lena to touch more of his nose. The council members could not look away. The room had never seen a scene like this. A tiny human child, no bigger than a council console, petting the deadliest dragon in the galaxy. The council had fought wars, negotiated peace, and faced countless threats, but this simple act of trust and bravery stunned them all. Look at him, whispered Varen. He is responding to her, not because of fear, but because of trust. Humans have a gift no other species has. Empathy. Lena's small hand continued moving gently. You are so big, she said, but you can be gentle. You can be my friend if you want. Zarvath's massive snout nudged her hand lightly, a gentle touch that could have crushed almost any other being. Lena laughed softly and patted him again. See? You can be gentle, she said. Outside, the stars reflected on Zarvath's black scales, making him appear like a shadowed jewel in the nebula. His wings shifted slightly, relaxed now, and his tail curled lazily through the void. The council had never seen a dragon act this way. It was not submissive, but it was not aggressive either. It was curious, calm, and connected. Some council members began whispering among themselves. Could humans really have this power? Through courage and kindness? One asked. They survive in ways we never imagined, said another. Perhaps we underestimated them for too long. Lena continued petting the dragon, speaking softly. Do you want to see the stars closer? I can show you planets and moons and comets. You will love it. It is beautiful up close. Zarvath lowered his massive head slightly, allowing Lena to climb a little onto the observation platform's edge. She did not fear falling. She trusted Zarvath, and somehow he seemed to trust her. She reached her hand along his nose again, feeling the warmth and power beneath his scales. Varen's heart swelled with pride. His daughter had achieved what no fleet, no weapon, and no diplomat could. She had reached the heart of the deadliest dragon in the galaxy, and had done so with kindness, courage, and curiosity. The council continued to watch in awe. Every member, from insectoid Gralnak to aquatic Thalra, realized something important. Humans were not strong because of their size or weapons. They were strong because they had hearts capable of bravery, understanding, and empathy. Lena's mother stepped closer, still nervous. Lena, be careful, she whispered. But Lena only smiled. I am careful, she said. He is my friend. Zarvath let out another soft rumble, his massive head lowering just enough for Lena to touch the tip of his nose fully. She gently patted him there, giggling. See? It feels nice, doesn't it? The dragon's glowing eyes flickered, almost like a smile. The council gasped. Never had a dragon of his size and power allowed anyone to touch him so freely. Never had any being approached him with such calm and courage. And here was Lena, a tiny human girl petting the nose of the deadliest alien in the galaxy. This is incredible, whispered Thalra. Humans are truly special. Varen looked at his daughter, filled with pride. Yes, he said quietly. And the galaxy is beginning to notice. Lena continued gently patting Zarvath's nose, speaking softly all the while. You can be gentle. You can trust me. You don't have to be scary. I like you. Zarvath rumbled again, a low, soothing vibration that filled the chamber. He had allowed countless ships and warriors to approach him only to destroy them, yet this tiny human child had reached his attention, his awareness, and perhaps even his respect. The council members exchanged looks of disbelief. The entire galaxy had feared Zarvath for centuries, and now one human child had achieved what no army could: trust. As Lena looked up at him, her eyes shining with innocence and courage, Zarvath lowered his massive snout further, letting her pat him fully. The nebula outside reflected off his scales, creating a rainbow of colors on his enormous body. Lena laughed softly, delighted by the sensation and by the dragon's reaction. Varen whispered to the council, "This is the beginning of something new. Humanity's strength is not in weapons or numbers. It is in its courage, empathy, and heart, and Lena has proven it today." Zarvath nudged Lena's hand gently with the tip of his nose, a soft, almost playful gesture. Lena giggled and patted him again. "See?" she said. "You are gentle. You can be my friend." The council members watched in stunned silence. History was being made. A tiny human girl had pet the deadliest dragon in the galaxy, and in doing so had shown that the true power of humanity lay not in fear or force, but in courage and kindness. The stars outside shimmered brightly, reflecting on Zarvath's scales and in Lena's wide, happy eyes. The galaxy would never forget this moment, the day a human child touched the nose of the deadliest alien dragon and proved that courage and heart could surpass fear, size, and legend. The Galactic Council chamber was quiet, though the hum of its shields filled the air with a low vibration. Outside, the nebula shimmered like liquid fire, casting colorful light across the massive windows. Zarvath, the deadliest dragon in the galaxy, hovered calmly just beyond the deck. His enormous black wings were folded slightly, his glowing eyes fixed on a small human girl. Lena stood at the edge of the observation platform, her hand still resting gently on his massive nose. For the council members, the sight was impossible to believe. In their history, countless species had tried to tame or attack Zarvath. All had failed. Entire fleets had been destroyed. And yet here was a tiny human child, speaking softly to him, touching him, and earning his trust. Zarvath's enormous head shifted slightly, moving closer to Lena. The tip of his snout pressed lightly against her small hand, a subtle gesture of acknowledgement. Lena giggled softly. "You are gentle," she said. "I knew you could be." The council members murmured among themselves. Many were shocked. "Is this possible?" whispered one alien delegate. "Can a human really influence the deadliest dragon in the galaxy?" Varen, Lena's father, nodded quietly. "Humans are different," he said. "Their strength is not in size or weapons, but in courage, empathy, and understanding. Lena is showing the galaxy that power can come from the heart." Lena crouched slightly to be closer to Zarvath's massive eyes. "Do you want to see the stars more closely?" she asked gently. "I can show you planets, moons, and comets. They are beautiful up close." Zarvath tilted his head slowly, his glowing eyes softening. Lena could feel the warmth radiating from his massive body. The rumble in his throat was low, almost content, not threatening. She placed her hand carefully along the side of his snout, and he allowed her to stroke him. "This is amazing," whispered Thalra, her voice trembling with awe. "Humans They see things we cannot. They can calm even the most dangerous beings. Gralnak's antennae twitched furiously. It is impossible. This child should be destroyed. Yet, he allows her to touch him. Varen smiled faintly. It is not about strength, Gralnak. It is about understanding. Lena shows courage without fear and kindness without expectation. That is something no weapon can achieve. Lena looked up at Zarvath, her small face lit with wonder. You are amazing, she said softly. I have never met anyone like you. You are big and strong, but you can be kind too. Zarvath's massive head lowered further, and his nostrils flared gently. Lena noticed tiny sparks of light dancing on his scales, reflecting the nebula outside. She ran her hand carefully along his nose, feeling the heat and the texture beneath her fingers. For a being that could destroy entire fleets, he felt alive in a new way, almost like a giant guardian. The council could not look away. Every member was recording and observing history in real time. This was more than bravery, it was a bond. The tiniest humans had a way to influence even the greatest powers of the galaxy, not with force, but with heart. Lena spoke again, her voice soft but confident. I know you are strong, I know everyone fears you, but I am not afraid. I want to be your friend. Zarvath tilted his massive head even closer. The warmth of his breath brushed against Lena's face. She laughed softly, leaning forward. See? You don't have to roar at everyone. You can be gentle. I like gentle dragons. The dragon's eyes flickered with a soft golden light, almost like he was understanding. He nudged Lena's small hand lightly with his snout. She giggled and patted him again. See? We can be friends, she said. Outside, the stars and nebula reflected across Zarvath's scales. They shimmered like molten metal, glowing softly under the nebula's light. Lena continued to speak gently, telling him stories of the planets she had visited, of comets she had seen streak across the sky, and of forests where the wind whispered like music. Zarvath listened, not with ears, for he had none as humans knew them, but with awareness. He shifted slightly, letting Lena's hand glide across his massive snout. His rumble vibrated through the observation platform, a sound of acceptance rather than threat. The council members were stunned into silence. No one could have imagined this. A human child, small and seemingly fragile, was forming a bond with the galaxy's deadliest creature. They watched, uncertain whether to intervene or simply marvel at the impossible. Gralnak muttered angrily, though with hesitation. No species could have done this. Why humans? Why now? Thalra's voice was softer, thoughtful. Because humans are fearless in ways we are not. They see life differently. They can approach danger with curiosity instead of aggression. And they can form bonds where others only see enemies. Lena smiled at Zarvath. Do you want to see more planets? She asked. I can take you to icy moons, to warm suns, to oceans that glow at night. You would love it. Zarvath's massive wings shifted slightly, and his glowing eyes seemed to follow her every motion. It was clear he understood her words. He nudged her hand again, softer this time, almost affectionately. Lena giggled. Yes, I knew you would like it, Varen whispered to the council. This is a turning point. Humans may be small, but their courage, empathy, and understanding allow them to achieve what no army or weapon can. Lena has shown the galaxy that size does not define strength. Lena climbed slightly higher on the observation platform to be closer to Zarvath's enormous eyes. Do you like looking at the stars? She asked. They are amazing. I can show you more. You don't have to be afraid. Zarvath lowered his massive head completely, allowing her to place both hands on his snout. The warmth was incredible. Lena felt the strength beneath her fingers, but it was not frightening. It was protective, steady, alive. The council continued to watch in stunned silence. Every delegate realized that humanity had shown something unique, the ability to approach the greatest dangers not with fear or weapons, but with courage and kindness. Lena laughed softly and spoke gently. "You don't have to roar at everyone. You can be my friend if you want. I promise I won't hurt you." Zarvath rumbled, a soft vibration that filled the chamber. It was not a roar, but a sound of acceptance. He nudged her hand lightly again, as if saying, "I understand you." Lena smiled, feeling a bond stronger than fear, stronger than legend. Outside, the stars shimmered in the nebula, reflecting off Zarvath's black scales. The council members began to murmur among themselves, realizing that humans were no longer just small, weak observers. They were beings of courage, empathy, and wisdom. Lena, a tiny human child, had proven it. She continued gently patting Zarvath's nose, speaking softly all the while. "You can trust me. You don't have to be scary. I like you, and I think you are amazing." Zarvath lowered his head even further, letting her hands glide fully along the tip of his massive snout. Lena giggled with delight. She had tamed, in the gentlest way possible, the deadliest dragon in the galaxy. The council members could not hide their amazement. This was history. A human child had not only faced the deadliest dragon without fear, but had built a bond with him. She had shown that true strength comes from heart and courage, not weapons or size. Varen whispered quietly to the council. "The galaxy is changing. Humanity's power lies not in destruction, but in understanding. Lena has shown us the way." Lena looked up at Zarvath, her small face shining with wonder and joy. "We can be friends," she said softly. "I'm glad we met." Zarvath nudged her hand one last time before pulling back slightly, his massive eyes glowing softly. He had accepted her as a friend, something no one had done in centuries. Lena smiled and waved, feeling a connection that transcended size, species, and fear. The stars outside shone brighter than ever, reflecting off his scales and in Lena's wide, happy eyes. The council would never forget this day, the day a human child tamed the deadliest dragon in the galaxy with nothing but courage, kindness, and heart. The bond between Lena and Zarvath was more than friendship. It was a lesson for the galaxy that even the smallest beings with courage and empathy could inspire trust and change the hearts of the greatest powers. And in that moment, humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer small. It was remarkable,